Assalamualaikum and greetings everyone. For today, my group members and I will be presenting about self-development skills and strategies. Before we begin, let's take a look at the table of contents. There are 5 subtopics that we'll be focusing on today, which are introduction, emotional intelligence, social intelligence, practical intelligence, and also spiritual intelligence. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Nur Hidayah and I will be the one presenting the first and the second subtopic. Alright, before we dive deeper into the different types of intelligences, we will first understand the definition of self-development itself. So according to Irving and Williams 1999, personal development is a process concerned with specific aspects of the individual, which is the development of what and the ways this can be planned, achieved, and evaluated. To put it into simpler words, self development is the act of progressively developing a person's character or abilities. Now that we understand what self development is, we'll take a look at the skills and strategies to develop ourselves according to 4 types of intelligences. And the first one will be emotional intelligence. Now, let's take a look at the question on what is emotional intelligence. Goldman 1998 said that emotional intelligence, otherwise known as emotional quotient or EQ, refers to the capacity for recognizing our own feelings and those of others, for motivating ourselves, and for managing emotions well in ourselves and in our relationships. So basically, what we can understand from this definition is emotional intelligence refers to the ability to perceive, control, and evaluate emotions. Okay, let's proceed to the next part, which is the emotional intelligence model that was introduced by Daniel Goleman, an internationally known psychologist. This model was originally developed in 1998 with 5 domains and redesigned in 2002 with 4 domains. So, as we look at this model, we could see that there are 4 main components of emotional intelligence, which are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. To make it easier, I will summarize each domain. And as for the first one, which is self-awareness, it is when we are aware of our own feelings and how they influence our thoughts and actions, which leads to us being conscious of our talents and flaws and being self assured. The next one is self management, where we can regulate our emotions in a healthy way, take initiative, follow through on commitments, and adjust to changing situations. The third one, which is social awareness, shows that we are empathetic, where we can read other people's feelings, needs, and concerns, notice emotional cues, feel at ease in social situations, and recognize power dynamics in a group or organization. The last one is relationship management, where we understand how to build and maintain positive relationships, communicate effectively, inspire and influence others, collaborate effectively, and resolve conflicts. Now, let's move on to the next section, which is the importance of emotional intelligence. The first reason is to support the advancement towards academic and professional success, because Bar-on 1997 goes so far as to suggest that people with higher emotional intelligence tend to perform better than those with a lower emotional intelligence in life overall, regardless of IQ. Other than that, emotional intelligence is also essential in improving relationships, as we'll be better equipped to express ourselves and comprehend how others feel if we understand our emotions and how to control them, which will then lead to boosting our communication skills, as it allows you to interact more effectively. Lastly, is to increase our motivation, because people who are emotionally intelligent are motivated by factors other than monetary gain, recognition, or acclaim. Instead, they are driven by a desire to meet their own personal demands and objectives. Now let's move on to the next part, which is the skills and strategies that can be used to develop emotional intelligence. So the first point is to practice self-awareness. So why? We need to be aware of our emotions and how they can affect others around us in order to pick up on other people's emotions and body language. And then we can utilize that information to improve our communication abilities. The next point is to respond instead of reacting to conflict, because we have to understand that in times of conflict, the aim is a resolution where we must remain calm and focus on ensuring that our actions and words are in line with that purpose instead of making rushed decisions. And the third one is to always practice ways to maintain a positive attitude. We have to be aware of the moods of individuals around us and adjust our attitude accordingly to have a better day and a positive mindset. The fourth one is to empathize with others, because it enables us to connect with others on a very human levels, as it allows us to appreciate and understand each other despite different viewpoints and situations. Last but not least, we will look at how is emotional intelligence implemented in daily life. The first point is we use emotional intelligence in improving our performance at school or work, because with a high level of emotional intelligence, we could navigate the social difficulties at the workplace, lead and motivate people, and achieve professional success. Plus, many firms now consider emotional intelligence to be as significant as technical skill when evaluating important job candidates, and also use EQ testing before hiring. Other than that, we also use emotional intelligence in strengthening our relationships, because two individuals cannot reasonably have the same needs, beliefs, and expectations at all times. Conflict and disagreements are unavoidable in human relationships. However, people's trust can be strengthened by resolving disputes in a healthy, constructive manner. And that is when emotional intelligence comes in, because we could communicate more effectively and build deeper relationships both at work and at home with higher level of emotional intelligence. Lastly, we also use emotional intelligence in maintaining physical and mental health, because we could manage stress, which will lead to a better physical and mental health with a high level of emotional intelligence. Because in terms of maintaining physical health, emotional intelligence is crucial, as uncontrolled stress elevates blood pressure, inhibits the immune system, increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes, causes infertility, and intensifies the aging process. Other than that, as for mental health, emotional intelligence could help prevent us from anxiety and depression.
Assalamualaikum and good day. My name is Nadhira Afifa and I will be presenting on social intelligence. So now we will look into what is social intelligence. Theory of social intelligence was first introduced by an American psychologist, Edward Thorndike, in 1920. According to Thorndike, social intelligence can be defined as the ability to understand and manage men and women, boys and girls, to act wisely in human relations. As more research has been done to study about this theory, Philip Vernon, a Canadian psychologist and author, has refined the definition of social intelligence as the ability to get along with people in general, social technique or ease in society, knowledge of social matters, susceptibility to stimuli from other members of a group, as well as insight into the temporary moods or underlying personality traits of strangers. Therefore, from these definitions, it is clear that social intelligence involves our interaction with other people. Typically, people with social intelligence are able to sense how other people feel. They can usually detect this just by looking at the other person's social cues, such as facial expression and body language. As you are talking to someone, try to look at these social cues to make sure that the other party is comfortable with whatever you are saying. Keep looking on the ground or scratching their necks are some signs of discomfort. So, if you notice this, try to change the subject or lighten the mood. Next, people with social intelligence know intuitively what to say in social setting. When meeting someone new, people with social intelligence know exactly how to strike a conversation to make the other person feel comfortable with their presence. This would include complimenting their outfit or asking them about their recent activities. Lastly, people with social intelligence also able to form relationships with empathy and assertiveness. Socially intelligent people often makes the other person feel comfortable with their presence, right? Therefore, this includes by being empathetic toward them. As someone is sharing a story, they would try to find something to relate to and only provide solutions or commentary when necessary. People with social intelligence also know when to stop and when to interrupt as to not make the social situation any awkward. Throughout our lives, we need interaction with other people. By developing social intelligence, it can help us to build relationships with others, specifically to form friendships and alliances. Building connections with people is far more important than we usually think. Having this connection with people can help us in so many ways more than we can imagine. For example, if you socialize and build a connection with your neighbor, it will be easier for you to ask for their help if ever needed. Let's say you have to be out of town for quite some time. Your neighbor can help you to monitor or look out for anything that might happen to your house. Next, social intelligence can also help in fostering leadership. It has been proven that one's ability to connect with their team leads to the success of institution or business. Leaders who are empathetic or understanding often motivate their followers to work better, thus contributing to the success of their institution. When the leaders are able to make connections with their team, the communication will run smoothly and work can be done flawlessly. How do we develop social intelligence? The first one is to pay attention to the social world around you. Be aware of your surrounding. If you're in a formal social setting, cracking an inappropriate joke or laughing loudly may not be suitable. The second one is to show curiosity. When someone is sharing a story, show your curiosity by asking relevant questions. Nodding and maintaining eye contact also proves that you are listening and you understand what the story is about. The third one is to listen attentively without interrupting. We have to know to only interrupt when necessary. By interrupting the people talking and suddenly making the conversation about yourself, it may show that you have low social intelligence. People might also be annoyed with your presence. The fourth one is to be authentic and avoid being judgmental. In this world, we are living with a lot of people, and when we are talking to people from different backgrounds, it is important to be authentic and avoid being judgmental of their cultural beliefs or practices. By being authentic, you don't have to change your personality to fit with other people. This will make the other person see you as a genuine companion, thus they will maintain their relationship with you. The last one is to keep up with current trends. Keeping up with the current trends are more important than you think. When you know what is happening around the world, it is easier for you to initiate and maintain the conversation. By knowing a lot of current trends, you will also have things to talk about, which will help you avoid the awkward silence in any social situation. Now let's look at how social intelligence is implemented in daily life. In the past 5 years, research in the emerging field of social neuroscience has revealed what actually makes a good leader. The most notable discovery is that some actions taken by the leaders, such as displaying empathy and becoming responsive to others' moods, have a direct impact on both their own and their followers' brain chemistry. This is also called as a mirror effect, in which the followers are prompted to mirror the emotions and acts of their leaders. In a recent study by Mary Desborough, who observed two groups in which the first one received negative performance feedback accompanied with positive emotional signals such as nods and smiles, and the second group received positive performance feedback but is delivered critically with frowns and narrow eyes. It is reported that the one who received positive feedback feel much worse about their performance as compared to the one who received negative feedback. This just proves that the delivery is more important than the message itself. If the person feels better, then they will perform better. Thus, if the leader wants or demand a best performance from their team, then they should first foster a positive mood among them. Not only that, Claudio Fernandez Arauz recently discovered in an analysis that the people who were employed for their self-discipline, determination, and brilliance were occasionally fired later on for lacking basic social skills. This may be because they are not able to work well with other people and they are not able to click with their colleagues. Therefore, it is very crucial for us, especially now, to acknowledge the importance of possessing social intelligence. Lastly, let's look at more examples of how social intelligence is implemented in daily life. The first one is asking the right questions. When someone is telling a story, respond with related or relevant question or statement. The second one is understanding of social etiquette. It is very crucial for us to recognize social differences in order to interact well with people. For example, the way we talk with older people is different with the way we talk with younger people. As with the older people, we tend to be more respectful and we give more space for them to talk. And with the younger people, we tend to be more casual and relaxed. So that is all the presentation on social intelligence. I have told you about what social intelligence is and the tips on how to develop social intelligence, as well as showcasing some examples on how to implement on how social intelligence is implemented in daily life. So hopefully you can understand how important social intelligence is in building connections with more people. So that is all presentation from me. I'll pass the floor to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Nur Aiman Nabilah and I will be presenting the next subtopic, which is the practical intelligence.
Alright, so let's see what is practical intelligence. Based on Sternberg, he said that practical intelligence is individuals' ability to find a better fit between oneself and the needs of the environment by adapting, changing, or selecting a new environment in pursuit of individually valued goals. So what he meant by this is that a person that is lean more towards practical intelligence will do anything by adapting, changing, or selecting a new environment so that they can achieve whatever goals that they want to achieve. If they cannot achieve in this situation or in this environment, they will change the environment and the situation so that they can achieve what they want to achieve. Okay? So I hope everyone is clear what is practical intelligence before we move on to the next slide. Alright, now that we have a general idea of what is practical intelligence, let's see the three phrases that I've put in the slide here on the left side. Okay, so we have street smarts, common sense, and quick-witted. So these three phrases are actually the phrases that are often associated with the term practical intelligence. Why so? Okay, let's see at the point here. Street smarts or common sense are terms used to describe practical intelligence, which is sometimes contrasted with book smarts or broad academic intellect. The concept arose from the realization that success with abstract academic problems did not always imply success with real-world practical difficulties and vice versa. So let's just look a deeper meaning about this. Okay, so This just means that even if you are successful in high school or academic, like getting high scores, always getting the first place in high school, it doesn't mean that you would succeed when it comes to real life world. Why so? Okay, because this is where the importance of practical intelligence come, which is being able to adapt. It is important to adapt yourself with any kind of situation which can help you to solve or go through unexpected situations, which is practical difficulties, okay, that needs you to think out of the box. Okay, so these unexpected situations that you might face in real world is not something that you learn in schools or in classes, as it requires your common sense, and it needs you to be quick-witted. So hence the street smarts, not book smarts, okay, when it comes to practical intelligence. Okay, so I hope you can understand better what is practical intelligence now before we go to the next slide. Alright, so now that we have a general and a deeper idea of what is practical intelligence, now let's see why is practical intelligence important. Okay, so now let's see at the point here. So it is the ability to deal with day-to-day tasks in the real world, which is referred to as practical intelligence. So it is something that we might not realize when we do the day-to-day tasks. It is when we use the practical intelligence. It is an unconscious process. Maybe we might not realize it. So every time that we do day-to-day tasks, just any simple task, it might be related to the practical intelligence, okay, which is something that we need to adapt to, something that we need to think out of the box. So we might not know, but we use it unconsciously. Okay, so continue. It is the ability to learn is a key part of practical intelligence. It is not enough to have experiences to develop knowledge. It is also necessary to extract crucial information from them that can be applied in other situations. So let's say you have experienced this one situation, okay? So it is important that you identify and realize what is the solution for this problem. Once you know what is the solution from this problem, you hold on to it, you remember it, so that in the future when you encounter the same kind of situation, or maybe it varies a bit but it's something similar and you can apply the same solution to it. So that's when you use your practical intelligence. So, and maybe the second time you encounter it, you can think, you can vary the solution. Maybe, oh, maybe before this I did like kinda A in A way, but the next time maybe you can do an A B way. So like it's still the same solution but with a bit of more creativeness and a better way in solving it. Okay, so now we know why practical intelligence is important, right? Okay, so let's see the next slide. Alright, so now that we know the idea of it, we know what is practical intelligence, and we also know why is it important. Now let's see what skills and strategies are used to develop practical intelligence. First, escape room. So it uses thinking skills and your survival skills. So let's say when you go to the first escape room, like let's just imagine it's your first time, you will need to think on how to escape from this room. So that will first activate your practical skills, which is for you to find solutions. Okay, so this is when you will apply knowledge that you have learned based on your past experience and how you can develop to be practical intelligence or practical skills. Okay, so once, let's say you have solved for the first room, and then let's say you think, oh, okay, I want to go to the next room. So the next room might be harder than the first one. So when you go to the next one, you already have an idea and you have experienced it. And when you have identified what is the thing or how to solve the escape room, you will be able to apply and think further and have better solutions for the second one. So by using the practical skills, the practical intelligence, you will just keep on being better and better once you learn and improve your skills on how to use it. Second is play video games, and as you know, for video games they have different level like beginner, intermediate, and the hard one. So you start off as the beginner one. So in the beginner, you start to learn on how the video games work, and you use your thinking on how to solve it, and from there on you will keep on develop your solutions to be better and better as you increase the level. And that and from there you can actually use it in your daily life, because if you are able to adapt in every level that there is in the video games, you are able to adapt to every level of challenges that you face in your in real life world situation. Okay, so and the third one is physical activities. So you know that in general speaking, physical activities help with sharpening the memory and skills. So sharpening the memory, which is for academic, and skills, which is for practical intelligence. And the last one is building something like the logos, the Legos. So it requires you to think on how do you want to solve this one. So if you realize, each of these activities relate to solving something. So when it comes to practical intelligence, you need activities, skills and strategies that requires you to solve. So that is how you are able to develop your practical intelligence even more. So now let's look at the next slide. Alright, so how is practical intelligence is implemented in daily life? So let's see the point. Practical intelligence is the consequence of a hands-on experiential approach to learning that leads to specialized knowledge. Those with strong practical intelligence generate valuable knowledge through doing and learning rather than watching or reading. We are able to increase more of our practical intelligence through active actions such as doing and learning rather than passive actions which are watching and reading. So how is this implemented in daily life? Let's see the example next. This one. Okay, in today's world, a practical intelligence example may be nailing a job interview based not only on your resume but also on your ability to handle a tight environment, communicate effectively, and influence the people you're speaking with, as Sternberg mentioned. Okay, so see, you have to be able to adapt yourself in any kind of situation based on the things that you have learned and experienced before, and you just keep on have to be better and better, and keep on be able to produce better solutions, better adaptability based on the situations given. So another easy example would be, let's say more like a daily life task. Let's say you want to cook chicken today. So today might be the first time you're cooking, so you don't know how to season it well. Maybe you even forgot to put an important ingredient. So that's the first day experience. So now that when you want to make chicken again on the next day or maybe next week, you've learned on how to do it, and now you start to memorize more and you start to improve your skill more in cooking the chicken. Okay, so this is why practical intelligence is important. It gives you more practicality that you can use in any kind of situations. So I hope that you guys are able to increase more skills on practical intelligence, which because it is very, very important. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you. Now let's go to the next presenter.
Hi, my name is Aina Farishah binti Zainuddin. I am the last speaker for this presentation, and I will talk about spiritual intelligence. Okay, let's first take a look at the definition of spiritual intelligence. So spiritual intelligence is defined as the ability to act with wisdom and compassion while maintaining inner and outer peace regardless of the circumstances. So for example, if you have a very bad day or someone irritate you so bad, but you are able to have your own composure and you are able to stay calm in that situation, that means you have a very high spiritual intelligence. Another definition is that spiritual intelligence is a higher dimension of intelligence that activates the qualities and capabilities of authentic self or the soul in the form of wisdom, compassion, integrity, joy, love, creativity, and peace. Spiritual intelligence results in a sense of deeper meaning and purpose, combined with improvements in a wide range of important life skills and work skills. So you see, spiritual intelligence is not like emotional intelligence. It's almost the same, but it's not similar. Emotional intelligence is focuses more on your feelings, your emotion. However, spiritual intelligence is about your wisdom, your thoughts, your capabilities in controlling your own self in a difficult situation. Okay, let's take a look why is spiritual intelligence is important. So firstly, it makes us progressively aware of what triggers our reaction. So for example, you have certain pet peeves, right? So when you identify these pet peeves, you will purposely and consciously or subconsciously avoid people or avoid situation that will make you encounter those things. So when you are able to do that, this means you have a high level of spiritual intelligence, because you are able to control what comes into your life and what messes with your life. So such awareness helps us stay clear of these triggers and save a considerable amount of time and energy. So when you are able to avoid them, when you don't have to deal with them, you definitely save your energy and you definitely save your time. So secondly, spiritual intelligence helps increase our awareness of our life purpose and the values hierarchy. So we have our aims and goals in our life, right? It is very important for us to know our what do we want to achieve in the future, what do we want to do, and actually you have this because you have spiritual intelligence. You are able to take control of yourself, your wisdom, your thoughts. And when you have these sets of goals with spiritual intelligence, you are able to tell which goal to be prioritized more than the other one. Lastly, understanding how to quickly and easily adapt to a calmer, wiser, and more compassionate state can directly affect our problem-solving skills and eventually makes us more creative. So when you have calmer self, you are able to keep your composure, you will be able to think thoroughly, and you'll be able to think clearly in order for you to solve a problem in the difficult situation. And when you are able to do that, you develop a critical thinking, and eventually you will be able to develop your creativity as well, because you want to solve the problem that you face. Thus it relates to one another. So that is why spiritual intelligence is important. Moving on, let's take a look at how to develop your spiritual intelligence. So firstly, practice stillness. Your spirit exists in a subtle realm of reality. It's important that you give yourself space to quiet your mind away from all the noise and movement of the outer world, so you can connect to your spirit. You can practice stillness through different practices, from meditation to taking a quiet walk out to nature to sitting below a tree. Anything that allows your mind to focus inward instead of figuring out how to deal with the ever-changing elements of the outside world. Stillness is a place to just be, no judgment, no rush, no guilt, just a moment in time for you to be aware of who you are. Secondly, develop your self-awareness. This is about to connecting to your real self, discovering your inner world, and living your life aligned to your soul's purpose. The moments of stillness will allow you to know yourself at deeper levels, but being self-aware is a practice that you should really focus on. Be aware of the sensations in your body, of the smells around you, of the tasks you are doing, of the thoughts that roam your mind. So that's what you do in self-awareness. Third is live your purpose with intention. Intention is the why behind everything you do. It's your internal GPS system. Knowing what you want to create and why it's important for you will fuel your intrinsic motivation and guide your thoughts. So ask yourself, what do I want to experience? Why is this important? Why is the legacy I want to live in the world? And why does this matter? So purpose, by having purpose, it is the long-term mission of your soul. So your intention helps you align to this purpose on a daily basis. And helping yourself to find your purpose and consciously attune with it is the key for you to be self-accountable. So fourthly, is to understand that everything is connected. The outside world will always be a reflection of what is going on inside yourself. So in order for you to change the world, you have to change yourself. Understanding that everything is connected is also increases our personal responsibility and accountability. And lastly, be open. Open your mind to receive new information. Open your heart to give and receive unconditional love to others. Open your senses to learn about the world in different ways. When you are open, you will also learn to see beyond the surface of every situation. You will learn to view life from different perspectives. You will learn to reframe every challenge from another perspective and access different solutions instead. So that's what you get when you be open. So those are the 5 steps on how to develop your spiritual intelligence. For the final part, we will take a look how is spiritual intelligence is implemented in daily life. So basically, we practice spiritual intelligence all the time. It's either we have it at the higher level or a lower level, but variations of spiritual intelligence are sometimes used in the corporate settings, and this is to motivate the employees as well as to provide a non-religious diversity sensitive framework for them to address the issues of values in the workplace. So by having spiritual intelligence to guide themselves in creating the framework, this will avoid all the issues which was mentioned. According to Stephen Covey, spiritual intelligence is the central and most fundamental of all the intelligences because it becomes the source of guidance for the others. What I mean is that so you see here in the picture, so we have our emotional intelligence on our right brain and intellectual intelligence on the left brain. So the spiritual intelligence, synchronous processing with the whole brain. So with the spiritual intelligence, you will get both your EQ as well as your IQ. So that's all from us. I hope you get beneficial information for you, and you will be able to develop yourself with all of these intelligence which we had presented. Thank you.